Welcome to Admin Setup Transaction Types. In this section we will go over all the different transaction types, or how you can customize your transaction types for logging your fees and your payments. So first step is to go to the Admin tab, then come down to Transaction Types. And we have quite a few different transaction types now that we've added our bookkeeping feature, but I'm just going to focus in on, we'll go to a brand new business type, because now we were able to filter our transaction types by business type to remove some of the clutter. So if I were to go right here to bookkeeping, you see I have no transaction types recorded here, so I'm going to set some brand new ones up. But let me first show you where transaction types actually come into play for a client. So I'm going to do a search. Just go to our normal client we do a search for. Go into Michelle's file here. And right here in the transaction information section, this is where we're going to create transaction types. And all we're doing is we're creating different transaction types to appear in a drop-down. As you see, I'm in business type tax preparation, and I've kind of cleaned mine up. I've organized my fees together, I organize my payments together, and I organize my discounts, and then I have adjustments at the bottom here. So I found it easier and cleaner, and I actually even used a transaction type. I just drew a line. I'll show you how to do that, just to try to break them apart. Now this discount shouldn't actually be there. I'll have to clean that up. But anyway, you should be able to create something like this, and if you want to call our office, and we can send you or just send us an email through the portal requesting that we send you basically a screenshot of our transaction types page to make it easier for you to set it up. But all you're going to do is, you select the fee, the payment, and then so basically what I'm going to do is we're going to try to create this right here for the new business type bookkeeping that I showed. So let's go back to Admin and go back to Transaction Types. And now we'll go to Business Type Bookkeeping. And you might not have a Business Type Bookkeeping. I'm just trying to start so I can show you how to create this. So the first, it's saying Customize Transaction Type. So let's just say it's going to be for, I'm going to say fee. And you don't have to do it like this. I'm just trying to make it easier to explain. And I'll say biweekly payroll. Okay, the category, drop down. In this case, it's going to be a fee. And now we have a debit and a credit. That's strictly tied into the bookkeeping feature, which I'm going to do a segment on that in the video library. So I'm going to refer you to that segment as opposed to trying to explain all that now. For now, if you're not doing anything to do in bookkeeping, then just go ahead and log it as a fee if it is a fee. Inactive. Once you log any kind of transaction type link to this biweekly payroll, you won't be able to delete it anymore. You'll have to make it inactive. The ordinal, that's going to be the order that you're going to see it in the drop down. So I'm going to go ahead and say I want this to be the first one, but I'm going to go ahead and put it listed as a 5, just in case something were I want to list before that. I don't have to reorder all my transaction types. So I'm going to do them in increments of 5. The date, that would mean if I want to have the date field open in my transaction types, and I'll show you what that means. So I'm going to say, yes, I want that date field open. The fee field, I'd like the fee field to pop open so I can actually log the fee in. A default fee, that would mean for this transaction type, is the weekly payroll, is that a default, is that a normal fee every time? It's the same fee, but I could always override it. So say it's $100. Then I'm going to say whenever I log this transaction type, weekly payroll, $100 will automatically show up. And if I want my payment field to open up, I would check that box. In this case, I don't because it's a fee. My discount field, if I wanted to open, I would check that box. And then I have the same thing, the default discount amount. So I'm going to log a different transaction. I'm going to log a transaction type as a fee, a discount, and a payment so we can see how all this works. So I keep coming over here. The payment method, that wouldn't wouldn't come into play for the fee. Adjustment type, that's not going to come into play. That would be a transaction type that's an adjustment. And same with adjustment type method. Over here under the business type, I'm going to make it just for bookkeeping. And this last category, this last column, this is strictly tied into the bookkeeping feature of Atom. So as you see here, capital, cost of goods sold, current assets, expenses, etc. This is all tied in like balance sheet items. So if you're going to use Atom for bookkeeping, again, I'm going to refer you to the bookkeeping section in the video library to explain these features. But since right now we're setting up something that has nothing to do with bookkeeping here, so I'm going to leave that blank. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now I'm going to go ahead and record a payment, and I'm just going to say it's check. So my payment transaction type is check, and the category is going to be payment because it is a payment. Not inactive, ordinal. I'm going to make this to be my second. Actually, I'll probably have multiple fees, so I'm going to go ahead and group this as like number 50. And the date field, I still like to have that open just in case I have to override it, and I'll show you what I mean in a second when I go back into my client. The fee field, I don't need that open because it is a payment, so I want to shade that out. There's no default fee, obviously. Payment field, I want that open, not the discount. Payment method, I want that open. And the default payment method, it's a check, so I'm going to make this a check, the default payment method, to match. And adjustments don't have any to play. And then the business type is bookkeeping. And again, don't have to worry about the last column. I'll save that. Now I'm going to log a, most likely I'd have, payment, also cash. So I'll do that really quick. You're going to have credit card most likely. I'll put this as 55. Date field, I want that open. It's a payment, so I want that field open. Payment method, I want that open. I'm going to default this to be cash. And this is going to be my bookkeeping business type. And I would do credit also, but I'm just trying to give you an example of how I do this. The next transaction I'm going to make is a discount. Say it's referral. So this is labeled as a discount category, and I'm going to make this, say it's going to make this 100. Make it further down. I want the date field to open up again. I don't need my fee field or my payment. I want my discount field to be open, and say my referral is automatically $25 discount. And my payment method, don't have to worry about that. And the bookkeeping again is going to be my business type. I save it. And lastly, what I'd like to log in is an adjustment. And I'm just going to call this other. And the category is adjustment. And I'll label this 120. Date field, I'd like to have that open. And now I'm probably going to open my adjustment. Could be adjustment to my fee. So I want the fee field open. It could be adjustment to my payment. So I want my payment field open. It could be adjustment to my discount maybe. So I'm going to open that field. And I don't have a set amount for any of them, so there's no defaults because it could be any various adjustment. The default payment method, I don't believe I'm going to need that to have opened. And adjustment type, I want that open because there's a different adjustment types right here. All right, so, and again, bookkeeping. All right, so now I just set up my transaction types for my bookkeeping client. And again, you can this can grow. It's unending. You can just keep adding to this. So now I'm going to go back, and I have one bookkeeping client under X tax, and there they are right here. X tax bookkeeping, business type bookkeeping. So I view, and in my drop down, these are just the ones I just created. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and log a fee, and if you recall, I put default was $100, so I log the fee. The date automatically populates today, and the date is open because I said I wanted the date field to be open. I have a little calendar here that I could select a different date if I want really easily. I could backdate it. The default amount is 100. let me just, looks like I got to click on the date to get it to disappear. The fee is defaulting to 100, and my notes box is going to open, but all these other fields, as you see, they're shaded because I didn't open them up back in admin. So now I'm going to save it. Now I have the client balance is 100. I'm going to give them a discount. So I'm going to put a discount referral. As you see, it automatically defaults to 25 because I put that in admin setup. I save it. Now my balance is $75, but I'm going to do an adjustment. So I have adjustment other. And as you recall, I opened all the fields up here. So say I'm going to do minus 25. And my adjustment type, I'm going to pick why am I doing this. And I'll just say other. And I'll say per mark. And then I save it. And now my balance is $50. Now I'm going to go ahead and pay. See, I have a payment checking cash that I logged in there. Say it's cash. And my payment method here is cash because I recorded that in admin. And it automatically will pre-fill the balance due of $50. And I just save it. And now I balanced everything out. But now maybe I want to put some lines in here to separate my fees and my payments and my discounts to make it cleaner looking. So how I do that is I just go back to admin. I'll go back to transaction types. And I'm going to do it right after my fee. So say I know I'm going to have whoops. Let me go to my bookkeeping. Okay, I know I'm going to have multiple fees in here, so I'm going to set this at number 40. And all I'm doing is going to just hold the shift key and then the underline up there at the top, up next to the equal sign. Just draw a line. That's all I'm going to do. I can go about to the end. It'll tell me if I went too far. And I'm just going to label it a fee, but that's not really important. And I'm not going to have any fields open. I'm having everything shut. And I'm just going to label it bookkeeping. And I'll put my ordinal as 40. And the payment, I'll do one as, I'll say it's 75 here. Just want to make sure it appears after. Again, I'll select payment as my category. And then just come over here and select the bookkeeping business type. And I save it. And I'm just doing this to clean everything up. Actually, I meant to have this be, oh, I forgot to put the ordinal in there. That's why it appeared. So I'm going to make this 75. All I had to do is hit an edit pencil to go ahead and do that and change it. And lastly, I'll put one under discount to separate the discount and adjustments. Shift key, underline. And I'll call this discount category. And the ordinal, I'm going to do it right after there. So I'll say it's 100, say 115. Bookkeeping. Save it. And now when I go back, I'll take a look what it looks like inside the client file. Where is it? X-Tax for bookkeeping right here. Now when I hit the drop down, and it looks cleaner. I mean, it's not that big of a deal right now because I don't have many transactions, but as I showed you earlier, under the tax prep, I had quite a few, and it made it look a lot easier to read, a lot easier on the eyes to quickly go to the fee section, the payment section, or the discount section, and then there's the adjustment at the bottom. So I'd strongly recommend putting some lines in there to make it easier for you, and you can customize this to fit your office. And the nice thing about this, there's a report called Transaction Types Report, and I can run that, and it's going to give a breakout of, for example, how many weekly payrolls do I bill based on a date range, and how much money am I bringing in just for my weekly payroll. So I could do the same thing for 941s, for 940s, for W-2 preparation. All I have to do is make a transaction type category, and then when I come in here and I select, just make sure I select the right one, and then I can run the report. And the report is right under reports. And I may have changed it. I believe it right now it's under, it's going to be under your bookkeeping transaction types. So if I were to go ahead and select that, and I can select the different business types, select my offices, a date range, and right here you'll see, so I blow this up a little bit so you can see it. I have an adjustment other. There's my biweekly payroll. It's going to tell me how many clients, how many accounts I have here. There's a company name, the amount right there, $50. So it's a very useful report to keep track of your transaction types. But that's all I have for admin transaction types, and I'll see you at the next section. Thank you.